A local psychologist who has handled between 3,000 and 4,000 custody cases in San Diego courts is being questioned about his resume.
I-Team reporter Lauren Reynolds reveals the accusations and the people making them.
But this is very important in protecting children. We get into protective issues.
This is Dr. Stephen Doyne.
And there's a lot of responsibility.
Widely used by the San Diego family courts as a child custody evaluator. His job is to advise the court on where children of divorce should live, which parent is more fit.
A custody evaluator has tremendous power and influence.
As these Doyne clients can attest, the evaluations can be costly in both emotion and dollars.
My amount paid to Dr. Doyne was in excess of $30,000.
Dr. Doyne is now facing an evaluation of his own, this lawsuit filed against him. Attorney Mark Angelucci represents the plaintiff, Dr. Imad Tadros, Vice Chief of Scripps Behavioral Health Services. The doctor was a client of Doyne's and felt Doyne's work was unprofessional. When he researched Doyne's credentials, he believed they were falsified and dubious.
I think it's a big deal to have misleading credentials, particularly when you are a child custody evaluator that the courts refer people to.
While Doyne is a licensed psychologist, questions remain. For instance, the diplomat title Dr. Doyne uses.
It was not the diplomat that I had assumed when I read it on his wall.
Note this letter. Doyne signs it and calls himself a diplomat of the American College of Forensic Examiners. This college, Angelucci says, is a sham organization that basically sells credentials.
They've given credentials to a cat.
A cat named Zoe DeCatz. The American Bar Association Journal reported how the house cat was credentialed. We called the American College of Forensic Examiners, which refused to give us any information. The doctor's resume, which was subpoenaed for the lawsuit, lists Doyne as an adjunct professor at the University of San Diego School of Law.
True or false?
From what we've seen, completely false.
In court documents, USD Law School claims no record of Dr. Doyne as a professor, searching back to the mid-1970s.
I just took him for his word.
Maureen Miller, a client of Dr. Doyne, says Doyne made another claim, this time involving UCSD.
He had been a professor at UCSD.
The university's letter says after extensive research, Stephen Doyne has not been directly employed by the University of California, San Diego.
Some of us have been placed in a position of great trust.
Doyne says he worked at both universities 25 to 30 years ago, saying nobody keeps records that long.
You have a certain expectation that the court has properly vetted out the professionals that they're appointing.
John Van Dorn and these other parents feel they were misled by Doyne.
How many of you have come to distrust his credentials?
Their assumption, Doyne was the most qualified. Now they question the decisions in their cases and why the court routinely recommends Doyne.
The court's not even doing its job.
We requested an interview with Dr. Doyne. His attorney, Christopher Zapati, says his client can't personally respond to our questions because of the lawsuit. However, Dr. Doyne stands by his record of education and experience. The claims against him are unsubstantiated.
Doyne is one of a dozen custody evaluators repeatedly used by family court. Are they qualified? The court says that's up to the lawyers and clients to find out. The court does not verify licenses or resumes. With photojournalist Michael Gonzalez, I'm Lauren Reynolds, 10 News.
And the I-Team called other counties to see how they handle the screening of their evaluators. Sacramento has a formal vetting process. LA County asks for copies of their professional licenses and resumes. San Francisco also keeps resumes on file and available to the public. Riverside County only uses staff evaluators.
Some of us have been placed in a position of great trust.